Hey, I'm Shawn Kanungo. This is another episode of Dangerous Ideas. We break down concepts and frameworks that will change your life. Hey, my name is Shawn Kanungo. This is another episode of Dangerous Ideas. I'm super excited to be here today because we have a really great guest. Niamh, do you want to say hello to the camera?
Hi.
So Niamh has been working with me for about, I want to say like 2-3 years. All the videos that you see, all the edits, all the best edits you see, all the crappy edits are probably me. I just want to remind you what we do on Dangerous Ideas. On Dangerous Ideas, what we do is we talk about ideas that will change your life, change your career, but most importantly, probably change your life. And the beauty of this podcast is that we don't really get into the individual. We don't really get into, it's not an interview format. We just explore dangerous ideas. And I have a whole bunch of dangerous ideas today. But Niamh, I was going to ask you because, this is the first time on Dangerous Ideas. And actually, you're the producer of this pod. How you feeling about this pod?
Yeah, I think it's going really well.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, you're the producer, so it's...
I hope it's going really well. Yeah, I think it's a cool concept that instead of interview style, it's topics. I don't think people really care for interviews.
I mean, I agree too. Like, I think people, I'm sure they're very interested in you and your life, but that's not this pod, okay? So if you want to interview Niamh, she's got to go on another pod.
Yeah.
But... just as a side note, before we get into the dangerous ideas, if you want to let the team know some of the what's the dirty secret when it comes to working with Shawn? Like what's something that most people would not know?
Oh, that's a
what's
good question.
Something that people would not know that you know?
Like about you?
No, just about like working in this like the Shawn Kanungo industrial complex.
Yeah, I think just always be prepared for anything kind of thing.
Yes.
We just do different things every day, it seems.
Be prepared. Be always ready.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's a good thing. Okay, so let's get into some of the dangerous ideas. I actually want to piggyback off one of the last podcasts that we did. One of the dangerous ideas, which was this idea of the value of Outlandish Theatrics. And the reason why I'm bringing this up again is because I've had a whole bunch of different events that happen in my life that I'm like, that just reinforces the value of Outlandish Theatrics. So number one is that on Friday I was in New York watching Bill Burr on stage, and really cool to see Bill Burr, one of the best comedians on the planet, do his thing. But I don't know why. It's maybe because when we do our keynotes, we do these like crazy productions and spend a lot of time on the motion graphics that you help edit. Props to Niamh on a lot of those motion graphics. I just felt walking away from Bill Burr and even walking away from any comedian in arena, and I'm like, there's got to be something more. There's got to be something more than somebody just standing there and just like putting in a fine effort. I wouldn't even say it was like the best, most riveting effort that he's ever put together. Mm-hmm. But it's like, there's got to be something more so that people feel walking away like, oh, wow, that was incredible, right?
Yeah, I feel like comedians usually, like comedy clubs are usually smaller rooms and stuff because they don't have all those added like screens and things. But I do think that if a comedian figured out a way to do it without taking away from like
the story
and the simplicity of it, then I think it would do better in like an MSG.
I agree.
Arena kind of setting.
I agree. When you are in an arena, I feel like you should, you should play big. You're in a big arena. It should feel big.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I walked away being like, there's got to be a better way. Like somebody's going to go off and reinvent this. So I watched that. And then on Sunday, I was feeling like, the context is I went for one of my best friends, Shawn, went for his 40th. We went to New York. And then Saturday night, we went out. I drank a little bit too much. Sunday, I actually had to fly into Halifax. And I just wanted a chill night. And I never do this because I usually try to prep for the next day. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to wake up really early the next day. I'm going to prep. But at night, I just want to like go to bed at like 8, So I went to bed, like I just like rolled into bed at 8 and I put on a documentary, which I've been waiting to watch. And I actually had to sign up for Paramount Plus.
I don't have it, but I've heard of it.
Another thing that I got to sign up, I got to like Amazon, Netflix, and then I watched the Milli Vanilli documentary. Now, do you know who Milli Vanilli is? Okay, this is probably a little bit past your era. So Milli Vanilli is the only group to return a Grammy back. The story of Milli Vanilli is that there were two really good-looking black guys. A producer brought them together, and he brought other people to sing the songs, but these two good-looking black dudes, they would be the face of it. And so they produced these tracks. They actually went super viral. They became one of the hottest things in the United States. Yet the two main guys, they never sung the songs. They just look really good and they could dance. That's the reason why they brought them in. Okay. So imagine these two guys are doing a tour. They're like topping the charts with songs that they did not sing.
Yeah.
They only lip synced them. So when they went on tour, they were lip syncing the songs, right? They were crazy dancers, but they were just lip syncing the songs. And the thing that kind of just basically destroyed this charade that they were doing was that they submitted their song to the Grammys, or they submitted themselves to the Grammys. And Grammys has a higher standard when it comes to music.
Yeah.
And they actually ended up winning Best New Artist. But afterwards, it came out, the producer actually got ahead of it and said, no, these guys didn't sing. There's some real artists. They are the ones that sung, and it totally destroyed their reputation. But all this to say is that, to me, the most interesting part of the story is that after Milli Vanilli, the whole scandal happened, the real artist put out music for the second album.
Yeah.
Yet nobody wanted to buy it. And then subsequently, the two guys that were the dancers, they actually put out some music after. And then I think they sold only 2,000 copies globally. So what does this mean? It means that we only buy the theatrics.
Yeah.
We only buy, the product has to be good, but we buy the whole package at the end of the day. Why is it that the real artists putting out the real music can't catch a vibe? They can't even chart, while the real artist with Milli Vanilli in front of them, that became a global sensation, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the product is never just good enough. You know, it has to be packaged in a way. It has to have theatrics around it. It reminds me of this video that I saw on the internet a number of years ago, where Ed Sheeran it was kind of like a prank video, but I think it was a very important video to show, which was the idea that he would go on the street, like the Ed Sheeran would go on the street and say $2 show to see Ed Sheeran. Yeah. Right? And everybody passed by.
I think I saw this video.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody passed by.
Yeah.
Because they're like, what do you mean, like $2 show to see Ed Sheeran? Like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. But there were a couple people that said, yeah. I think there was one couple that said, yeah. After like hours went by where nobody was like, I'm gonna watch this. A couple actually said, let's go see what the hell this is. Of course, they paid the $2. It's freaking Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a fascinating look at packaging. You still have Ed Sheeran, but he's packaged as $2. You're not going to watch him. But when you're there, you're like, obviously they were amazed that Ed Sheeran was there. So the value of Outlandish theatrics, and still go back to the idea that people buy story, people buy package, people buy theatrics, not just the thing.
Yeah, I think I agree. With the lip syncing thing, it's very interesting because at the same time, there's a lot of concerts. I remember, I think Selena Gomez was like accused of lip syncing and people were getting mad. But then when she would actually sing and not sound like the albums, people would also get mad.
Right.
So it's like...
Well, I think the difference between Milli Vanilli is that they obviously lip syncs, but they didn't even sing their own song.
Yeah.
Which was different. Now I think everyone sort of lip syncs on, when they go to concert, it's just like it's given that they're going to lip sync.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think people are okay with that because of the theatrics. They're like, oh shit, like look at all this.
Yeah, like they're like seeing the dancing, lights and everything, so they don't pay attention.
You're looking at everything. It's like, I feel like they're just in awe of everything else and they're okay with it. Yeah. Like if Bill Burr was lip syncing his comedy routine, we would be mad because that's the only thing. There's no theatrics. Mm-hmm. It's just the product, basically.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Bill Burr like went that big of a place, like not because he couldn't sell it, but because it just doesn't seem like a comedy show arena.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised. Like I've been to like many of them, very low production, and they are making bank. You can think about it. Like,
I guess so. Yeah.
Oh my God, these guys are making bank. They have no production.
Yeah.
They basically have a mic. They're selling out MSG. Can you imagine the profit on that thing? Oh my God. Like at least when Drake, or Taylor is at MSG, mm-hmm. like they got like 50 trucks of stuff that they're putting in.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously the cost is a little different, but like, oh my God, these guys are making bank.
Mm-hmm. Do you think though that if he did put in screens and things that it would take away from his actual comedy?
Purists would say that. Purists would say that Bill Burr putting in some sort of screen or purists hate screens. Mm-hmm. They're like the story should stand for itself. But I think purists are. Listen, I feel like people have changed. Like, unfortunately, standing on stage for 2 hours because you have to listen to the openers, we're just not wired to do that anymore. I don't know how many young people are going to sit there for like 3 hours and listen to people.
Yeah, even like movies and things, I find I check my phone. I'm like, is it almost over?
And that's wild.
Thing, even if I'm enjoying it.
That's why you like all the things that are moving. Not at a movie theater though.
I'll like check my watch to see if it's almost
at the movie theater.
2 hours. Yeah.
At the movie theater.
Yeah.
No, and see that's crazy because there's like constant shit coming at you.
Yeah.
And you're still checking.
Yeah.
And that's wild. So I feel like people's like attention spans are so small that you need to be able to like put together those theatrics. And this is not just like in shows. This is just in life. Like put in some effort.
Yeah.
Costly signaling, putting in effort translates into greater value and meaning at the end of the day. We talk about this all the time. Put in effort. The product is not just enough. So anyways, I'm that's probably like the main, if when I die, people are just going to put that up, just like put in effort. So I want to bring back another topic from last week. This is, by the way, Dangerous Ideas. We bring back topics where they're important because the different guests like to get their opinions. Last week, we talked about the Sassy Man Revolution. And I have to apologize because I think now your social feeds have just been Sassy Man. Yeah.
I've actually even seen people who aren't him doing like Sassy Man things.
Not the same
guy.
Thing? Okay.
And like I saw this TikTok and it was someone's like screenshots with their boyfriend and he's like embodying the Sassy Man apocalypse thing.
Yeah.
And all the comments are like, oh, like I want a boyfriend like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
okay, so let's chat about that because last week my hot take, the dangerous idea is that the world is a pendulum where, it's like, I don't know, 2 months ago, we loved the man. And maybe that has always persisted, that girls love, and guys now love like the alpha, the man, the guy that stands up, blah, blah. And then now with Sassy Man Revolution, it's putting a dent into that because it seems like a lot of girls like the Sassy Man, which is, listen, if Andrew Tate saw Sassy Man, I think he would just like shoot himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'd like explode.
That's exactly why Andrew. By the way, I don't support Andrew Tate or anything that he says, but it's just funny to see what he says. That's why he said Canadian men. Like, if you're a man from Canada, like you should be. I don't know. It's just embarrassing to be a man from Canada. And it turns out that the Pookie man, Pookie sassy guy, Prayag, he's from Mississauga. Anyways, but the question is this actually something that girls are looking for? Like you, your friends, the sassy man.
It's funny because I feel like the whole like manly thing, it was more so guys wanted that than the girls. Like I think the girls have always been on like not necessarily the sassy man, but like just not like the super manly side of it. And I would say like for me and my friends, like all of us are dating like more so like I wouldn't say they're like sassy men, but like sassier. Like they're on that side. And I don't think I've ever met someone that I know that's been interested in the other side.
Right. So guys, okay, so this is a good perspective. Guys love alpha guys. Mm-hmm. They think that alpha guys get the girls.
Yeah.
But in reality, girls like sassy guys, and in reality, the sassy guys are getting the girls.
Yeah. It's like whenever people used to say, oh, like the nice guy, like no one wants the nice guy, they all want the bad boy kind of thing. It's, I don't think they actually do. It's just like guys think that for some reason.
That makes sense.
They like reversed it in their brain and then now think that they should do the opposite of what the girls actually want.
Right.
And so now I feel like with the guys embracing the sassy man aspect, it's just going to do better for them.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's not confuse. I don't want this to be like a, do you remember when quiet quitting started and like people are talked about quiet quitting? Mm-hmm. I don't want anybody watching this pod to be like, there is a sassy man revolution happening or there's a sassy man apocalypse happening. It's just like one guy on TikTok is like sassy. So I don't want like people to think that this is a trend. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like when quiet quitting started, somebody said quiet quitting. They thought the whole Gen Z was quiet quitting. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was just probably one dude that was quiet quitting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's the problem with social media, is that you take a data point and you extrapolate it. So I don't want to say that people, but it is just fascinating to see the comment section of the Pookie Nation guy, Prayag Mishra. Like he's got a lot of girls in the comments and probably in the DMs. Yeah. And to me, that's fascinating because girls love his personality, right? Mm-hmm. Are we just saying girls like guys with personality? I think that's always been the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Girls like guys with personality. And listen, this is not a dating pod. This is, we're talking about business, we're talking about culture. But the punchline is if you want to get a girl, you have to have a personality.
Yeah.
It's not a hot take. It's just, that's a reality.
Yeah. I feel like it is kind of a hot take. I feel like some people.
No, listen, I've met many girls that are married today. And they married a lot of guys without personality, and God bless them. But yeah, it's just fascinating. I'm not going to call them out here, but anyway. So sassy man. So like, is this something that you and friends are talking about? Did you guys talk about it? Sassy man revolution. This is just like a niche TikTok thing because I feel like when our last podcast was here, Niamh, and he didn't even know what the hell I was talking about. Yeah. And that's just the internet.
I didn't even know until you showed me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's just kind of like a niche thing.
Okay. So let's keep on moving. One of the principles that I talked about in my book is called the Maya principle. The Maya principle is a really powerful idea. It's the idea of being creating something that is not too advanced, but just advanced enough that people would accept it. So, for example, the best example I can give is an elevator. So when the automatic elevator started, people thought it was too crazy. Like, what do you mean? Like, people were freaked out that you could press a button and go up all the way. So what they did was they did the old school way, which was the old school way was with an elevator, is that you would put a human in there and they would help you get to the actual top of the elevator. Yeah. And so when the automatic elevator happened, they still put a doorman in there just to make people feel comfortable. So that's a way of getting around it and to making it acceptable for people at the end of the day. So my principle is a really dangerous idea because when you're creating anything, whether it's an idea, whether it's a technology, a concept, whatever it might be, make sure that it's not too out there. Otherwise, most people will be like, what the hell is this? They're not going to accept it. Yeah. You have to make it palatable. You have to make it, something that people can sort of relate to in some sort of way. I would say like, I'm trying to give a musical example, like Lil Nas X. I feel like because he did something with his first song, Old Town Road, which is the number one, still to this day, the most weeks on the Billboard number one chart ever, did something really interesting where he produced a song which was sort of hip hop, sort of country, and people that were hip hop liked it and people that were country liked it, but it was still really weird. Yeah. But it just sort of, it was the Maya principle. It allowed people to accept this idea without being too far. By the way, I didn't tell you what Maya stands for. Most advanced yet acceptable. That's what it is. Most advanced yet acceptable, Maya. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because recently there was this technology that just came out. It's called the Humane AI pin. Have you seen this?
I have. I've heard of it. Yeah.
So what it is, for those of you who haven't seen this, it's a pin that you put onto your shirt or put onto your jacket, and it kind of acts like a replacement for your smartphone. So you could tap it, it can take a text, it could take a picture, it could give you recipes, it could give you directions, it can make a call, etc. And I think it actually fell in the Maya principle where it was like advanced, but yet it was still acceptable. But I feel like it wasn't too advanced yet. Do you know what I mean? So because I saw a lot of people hate it on social media, and I felt that it wasn't revolutionary enough, which was weird.
Yeah,
what's your take on it?
Yeah, I saw the video about it, and I feel like it's just Siri. Yeah. It's literally just Siri. Like, it does a few other things.
It's like an Apple Watch on your chest.
Yeah, which I feel like I don't know. I just don't really get the point of it, I guess. And you have to, like, talk to it. So I don't want to I'd rather just type in my question than have to, like, ask it out loud, I guess. Especially if it, like, I'm Googling something stupid. Right. So I don't know.
Well, like, everybody's been trying to kill the smartphone. Yeah. Right? And come up with, not everyone. I mean, it's very hard to do. Like, iPhone 2007, we're here in 2023. Like, this thing is, like, will this thing be disrupted in our lifetime? Like, I don't even know, right? Yeah. So people are trying to think about what will disrupt this thing. And I just dropped it. And this was I, by the way, appreciate the Humane AI pin. Yeah. I actually was going to buy it. However, before I bought it, because number one, the reason why I was going to buy the Humane AI pin, number one, I appreciate people that are taking bold steps. Whether you can hate it or not, I appreciate people trying something bold. I appreciate it. And I'm not going to knock somebody for trying something bold. Number two is I think that this is the first generation. Like, listen, this is the first iteration. Yeah. Could get exponentially better tomorrow, next year. The only reason why I haven't completed the purchase yet is because I asked them the question, because you can't port your number over to it, right? So you can't, like, and I've had my same number for like 20 years. So like, I'm not going to change my number or add a number to it. Who's going to text me on that? Yeah. Right. So I want to see if in Canada, if the roaming charges, because it's US based, so I want to see if the roaming charges would have applied, and no one got back to me. I need a human to respond to me. So I was gonna buy it, but what do you, okay, so like if you're not impressed by it and you think it's just an Apple Watch or Siri, what would like impress you? What would be a replacement for the iPhone?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if like it would take a lot for me to replace my iPhone, I think.
Yeah. I think to me the killer app is going to be augmented reality, AR with AI.
Yeah.
Right? So like those Ray-Ban glasses that they can superimpose, like you can still have a screen in a sense, but also have those AI elements, like, figure out my schedule, and it has to be seamless.
Is that what like Elon Musk's thing is, but it's in your brain?
Neuralink?
Yeah,
sort of, but it's on a screen though.
Yeah, it's like it just comes through your eyes kind of thing.
I think you're wearing something. I'm not exactly sure.
I'm not too sure.
But listen, we need to replace the phone, because this is embarrassing. That we're looking at our phone all day long. It's so addictive.
Yeah.
I feel like we need something like the Humane AI pin. I think we need something like that will help us disrupt this, because this is destroying society.
Yeah. I do.
I mean, we love it, but let's be honest, we love it, but it's destroying society.
Yeah.
It's making things better, but it's also making things worse as individuals.
I just feel like with something like that, like the Humane AI pin, like it would have to be something that everybody switched over to kind of at once. It's like how when smartphones came out, everyone like gradually started getting them.
Yeah.
And then it phased out, like the old keyboard thing. So you would have to get something that almost everyone would switch over to, which, like you said, like if they don't have it in Canada and you can't you can't put your real phone number on it and stuff, it's just not going to work.
Right.
They have to make it more simple first to set up.
Right. So you think it needs mass adoption immediately in order to really put a dent and replace the iPhone? I
think so. Because even with like social media apps and things, like Threads, I never got it. No one really uses it as far as I'm aware.
Done.
Be Real.
Are you still on Be Real?
I'm still on it, but I like don't use it.
Interesting.
Like,
have you got onto it recently? Because I deleted it. Because I Be Real. Okay, so if you don't know what Be Real is a social app, French owned company, where you can post a picture of it. It prompts you to when to post a picture, basically. So everybody around the world at a certain time, 2 p.m., wherever it is, post a picture of where you're at that time. So it's supposed to be like very instantaneous. It's supposed to be very like, I don't know, real.
Yeah.
Be real.
I think where they missed the mark is you're allowed to upload late. Like I
totally
purposely
100%
only upload when I'm doing something cool.
100%.
Like I went to a concert last night, so I posted last night, but I think that's the first time I've posted in weeks.
Wow.
And that's like most people I know too. They'll only post if.
And the problem is everybody gets it at the same time, so it's like they get the same notification at the same time. So like, oh shit, Be Real, and then they're.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Do you find it interesting to look at other Be Reals?
I do.
Okay.
Mostly just because I'm nosy.
Okay.
But I only look at my friends.
Everyone is nosy,
I never
by the way.
use the Explore page. So I guess it's not that interesting.
By the way, the Be Real is not Be Real because it's like, it's still curated.
Yeah.
Even if it's late. Mm-hmm. Because we could do a Be Real right now and it wouldn't be a true depiction. It would be like the light would be there because of what is actually happening.
Like you're still posing.
You're still posing.
Yeah.
What a be real would be awesome is that somebody comes through the door
paparazzi.
and fucking takes a picture of you. That's a real be real.
Yeah.
That is $1 billion company.
Yeah.
The guy comes through the corner and takes a be real of you at 2 p.m. That's a be real.
Yeah. Yeah. And like with that, again, like everyone got on it at once and then it just fell off as well. So I feel like if you don't have something that's going to keep people, then this, like, what's the
hard?
point?
It's very hard to do. I can't name you that many apps that have done that in the last 10 years. The only app in the last 10 years that has gained traction, like true traction, there's only 2. TikTok and ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even argue ChatGPT has fallen off, right? But, they're still putting in things into it. I think it's very hard to... Goes back to it's very hard to get people's attention today.
Yeah.
Very hard to get people to engage.
I also feel like there's like so much now that you're just not, it's so hard to like impress people these days. Like the Humane AI pin, I feel like if that came out maybe 5 years ago, everyone would 100%. Be like, oh my gosh. But now it's like, okay, it's just a pin. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
You're so right, and I think this goes back to the some of the dangerous ideas that we've been talking about before, which is the idea that it's just like, we live in this world of attention, right? And when you have an abundance of noise, abundance of content, abundance of anything at your fingertips, you actually become very picky. And you also become very ungrateful. So, look at Netflix. Netflix is a classic example. Back in the day when I used to fly with my parents, what would happen would be there would be a TV that would come down, and then we would just all watch that video. No matter where we were sitting, if you're sitting close to it, you would watch it like this.
Yeah.
Your backs. We'd all just watch that movie.
Yeah.
We all just watch that movie together. And after it would be done, we'd be like, hey, that was a sweet movie.
Yeah.
They gave you one option. They didn't even tell you the option.
Yeah.
They just played the Kevin Costner movie to everyone, right? And that we accepted it. It was great. But now when you have everything at your fingertips, when you have every piece of content and it's just nonstop, like the majority of people that have now access to all this content, you're like, there's nothing on.
Yeah.
It's crazy how ungrateful we have gotten.
Yeah. Yeah. And like even with how much is on Netflix and things, I find I still rewatch the same like 4 shows every year. Like,
right.
I very rarely start something new.
That's wild.
I wonder.
And think about it from an app's perspective. Like we have all these apps, you have everything. Like people are they're like, it's not that there's not good stuff. It's just that our expectation has completely gone off the map, and we just don't appreciate things anymore.
Yeah. I also feel like there's like too many options that it's like almost like a paralysis of choice. Like I don't even want to pick. I don't want to look through them. I'm like, I'm just going to go to what I know. Exactly.
Yeah. And so I believe that, to me, in a world of abundance, that the products, the services, the information that are scarce will sort of win over.
Yeah.
Right? The thing that's going to only give you one thing. Because, I mean, it's just too much choice. I feel like Netflix has hurt themselves because there's too much shit on there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another example, like even grocery stores. You go to a grocery store, like, I don't know, there's so much stuff there. It's just, imagine like supplanting somebody from like the 1918s or like the 1800s into a grocery store.
Yeah.
I think out of all the content, I think the thing that would blow their minds the most would be a grocery store.
Yeah.
Like, forget Netflix, forget Uber, forget satellites. With them walking into a grocery store and be like,
what
the hell is this?
Yeah.
Would be the craziest thing in the world. You have all this food here. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. I started grocery shopping like just recently for myself, and it takes me so long because I'm just standing there like, I don't know which one to get. Like,
right.
They're all the same, but are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does this mean for, like, are we just turning into very just ungrateful? What's the solution to this?
Honestly, I don't even know. I feel like it's
like attention. Okay, let's just talk about attention.
Yeah.
If you, and we talk about this all the time, and we talked about it today, as we strategize for 2024, like, how do you get people's attention today?
I feel like you just have to be like everywhere all the time, like just like constantly popping in. Otherwise, they're just gonna forget about you, kind of thing.
So consistency of putting out your authenticity and who you are is, I agree, but I feel like you almost have to, like, I don't know, like the best example is, so we put together this prank. Can I talk about another pod around the Joe Rogan church?
I don't think you did.
Okay, so let me break this down for you. In order to promote the special, we thought that a really great prank, because in the special I talk about the idea that individuals have become the new religions. So our idea was that we were going to create a CGI version of a Joe Rogan church, like as if I was on an iPhone and I just came upon it. It was supposed to look so real that no one would be able to know. And so I got a team, spent an extraordinary amount of money to get this like really super sophisticated CGI team to create this video, this viral video. So I got it. I'm like, this is sweet. I literally posted it on social media, and we actually partnered with WorldStar, which is the first time. By the way, partnering with WorldStar is like a trip, by the way. That's another detail of how to partner with WorldStar. WorldStar is like a very, I don't know, skeezy. I don't even know what skeezy is, if it's a word, but
it's kind of like TMZ of social media.
Hood. It's like the hood. It's like, but it's like the hood TMZ, I would say.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. So partnered with WorldStar to put up this viral video, and I don't know, maybe got like 30,000 views. And most of the people in my world that actually saw it, then I said, hey, did you see that? They're like, yeah, that was crazy. So anyways, like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't the fact that that they thought it was fake.
Yeah.
It was like, it was as if it was like real, and they were like, yeah, that's great. People are crazy. Anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just didn't even pierce their brain. I'm like, it's a church. Somebody made a Joe Rogan church, but they did not care.
Yeah.
And it was a lesson for me, because then I'm like, I could create, like, I could bring Barack Obama and have Oprah here and get Barack Obama and give her a massage, and people would just be like, yeah, I saw that. It was crazy. And then they would just go on to something else.
Yeah.
They would not stop. And that's an example of it. Even people online, they were like, wow, yeah, people are crazy. Like, very few comments. People went on. They just scroll past it. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
How do you get people's attention? Just.
I feel like with that, it was like, it's insane that people weren't more like, who is doing this? Like,
yeah.
Like, why? Like,
yeah. So anyways, I think that's a lesson for us. It's a lesson for the world, a dangerous idea, that if you want to get people's attention, you gotta try harder.
Yeah.
And this game has become so difficult. If you're putting out a regular post, you're done. It needs to be authentic. It needs to be real. It needs to be over the top.
Yeah.
Something. This gets to a point that we actually recorded a pod many, many months ago. And it was the most interesting part is that I don't know if you were traveling or your friends were traveling or you were on social media looking at people from other states where they have like young men have embodied the Nelk boys voice.
Yeah.
Or the Toronto man voice.
Yeah.
And or it's more I think it's more of the Nelk boys aesthetic and voice.
Yeah.
Describe it to the group.
Like the hockey boy, like typical, just like I would say like frat boy, but it's like even more niche than that. It's like
the hockey boy. Is it just the aesthetic, or is it also the voice, the cadence?
It's the voice and the slang and the outfits and just like the overall behavior, I guess.
Hockey boy behavior.
Yeah. And like I grew up here, so it was just everyone I went to school with was like that, just because
backwards hat,
like flow growing out, like
bro,
yeah, and
let's get her boys.
Now you like go and look at videos of guys in university in like Texas, thinking they're gonna sound all like cowboy, but they sound the exact same as kids I went to school with, and like saying the same slang and everything. And it's because I'm pretty sure it's because like the Nelk boys like blew up, and everyone just started using their slang, using everything.
Wow.
And it's very interesting because I remember when I was in school, everyone was like, oh, like you're a typical hockey boy, like kind of making fun of it. Where now it's like the cool thing to do, I guess.
Amongst boys.
Yeah.
Like, or amongst men like of that age. Mm-hmm. But I don't think women think that that's cool. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it just depends. But yeah, it's interesting to see. And it's not, it used to be only the kids that played hockey, and now it's everyone.
Yeah, no, it's funny because like you could definitely see, you could run into somebody and know exactly that they played hockey or they're part of this hockey boy. I'm trying to say a hockey boy culture.
Yeah.
Culture is the best word for it. But the fact that the Nelk boys have sort of in a way created this culture globally, or maybe even North America, because of their content and their podcasts and all that, is remarkable, is a testament to the Nelk boys.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. And I think I don't think it was like their intention, but because they are so popular, it's just like people adapted their slang and then slowly adapted their way of speaking, because it's not even just like the things they say, it's the way they say it as well.
Right.
And then I've seen that a lot lately with like the Toronto accent too. Like there's a girl I think from Alberta who blew up because she was using the
there's
Toronto
been a couple
accent.
people
And everyone's like, oh, you're not actually from Toronto. But I'm like, I don't even know if I know anyone from Toronto that talks like that.
Right.
So like, is it a Toronto accent?
Is there a Alberta accent?
I think so.
But because I was in Halifax yesterday, 2 days ago, and we were the other guy with me was from Calgary, and we were asking the question to the folks in Nova Scotia, because there clearly is a Atlantic Canada accent, right?
Yeah.
Newfie, if you're in Newfoundland, there's definitely an accent in Newfoundland, but in Alberta, I think she said that. No, Albertans are very, I guess, I don't know. They sound like everyone else in, America. Mm-hmm. But you think that Albertans have an accent?
I do, but it's more so, like it's very subtle.
Okay.
But I would say, I guess if you talk to someone from BC, they kind of sound the same to me. So maybe not. Maybe it's like Western Canada.
I have never seen, obviously, as somebody that travels a lot, and is in front of thousands, tens of thousands of people every single year. Not a single person has ever come up to me and said, I don't know where you're from, but you're from Alberta. They've definitely said Canada.
Yeah. Because
of the words that we use. But even if I didn't say certain words the way that they are, I don't think people would think that I'm from Canada. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that Alberta has an accent, but maybe there is a subtle accent.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think I think it's more so, again, just like the slang, which is anywhere's going to have that.
Yeah.
Than the actual way of speaking.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's a slang. I feel like, and maybe this is a dangerous idea, but if you want to be successful in your career overseas, go to a country where they respect that country's accent. So, for example, I was in New York with a friend who used to live in Canada, but now he lives in the Middle East. He lives in Doha. And I asked him, does your North American Canadian accent give you a leg up in Middle East? In the Middle East, he says, absolutely it does.
Yeah.
100%. Because people, see that as a sign of, I don't know, being different, intellectual. The same thing I feel like for folks that are here from the UK.
Yeah.
I feel like they get a bump.
The British accent is like a big thing here.
The British accent bump.
Yeah.
I call it the Jay Shetty effect. We've talked about it on other podcasts. The Jay Shetty effect is when somebody that speaks with a British accent says the same thing as you, but the world just accepts that message a little bit more from the British guy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's the truth.
I think that's why they use like British people to do nature documentaries.
Is that right? Yeah, maybe you're right.
Because everyone wants to listen to that, but if it was like an American guy, no one would want to.
Right. I wonder if in the UK, somebody that knows that somebody has a North American accent, we got to ask this question. Somebody has a North American accent actually has a leg up.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Like, my family is in Scotland, and my cousins have said, like, they'd rather my accent, but I think it's just because they live there and they grew up there.
Right.
And so that's what they're around all the time. Plus, like, the Scottish accent is, like, harsher.
Right.
So they want the North American accent, but I'm like, I'd rather have a cool accent like yours.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's just because we're around it all the time, but then you're not always around the British accent, so it's just like, it just sticks out more, so you listen better.
So listen, I think to round up this accent thing and the Nelk Boys piece, I just found the Nelk Boys piece interesting because they have penetrated culture in a way that is impacting people's speech, that's like real affinity. Like people like love them so much and listen to them so much that they're now speaking like them, which is insane.
Yeah.
The other thing is that I just hope that as Albertans that we do not, for whatever reason, develop an accent like the Toronto. I mean, I don't want to be controversial, but the new Toronto man or the new Toronto girl accent is horrible. It is the worst accent on the planet. And please do not make that accent as the default accent to Canadians because it's absolutely horrendous. And I am just worried that somehow we degrade ourselves here in Alberta to an accent like that. Like there's also a Surrey man accent. This is like if you're from Surrey, there's like a Surrey Jack. It's like a brown guy from Surrey. It's a very distinct accent and a certain cadence that people have in Surrey. And I don't want us to get down to that level, to the Toronto man level. I want us to maintain a certain level of grammar, punctuation, understanding. Like I want to be able to speak to somebody and be like, I understand this person.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe we live in a bubble. Maybe we do have an accent. And maybe people don't. They have no idea what we're talking about.
Maybe. I feel like though, even with like the Toronto accent and stuff, I don't hear people in real life talking like that ever. It's always just social media. And I think people like...
No.
Really?
People talk like that.
Really?
I feel like people talk like that.
Huh. I feel like they like up it for social media.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But, okay, just to close it off, going back to this accent piece, who else has impacted the like the Nelk Boys creating this hockey boy culture for the world.
Yeah.
Like, who else has done that? You know what I mean? Like, you would think that even like somebody like Drake or like, obviously for men, there's been people that have, you know, the soccer stars, whether it's Beckham or Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, like people have created fashion trends, certainly, but to embody the entire essence of the Nelk Boys and copy and paste that with young people, that's gotta be, like, I've never seen that before.
And like, I know for a fact not everyone is watching the Nelk Boys, so it's even people who don't watch them that are now like adapting it just because everyone else started.
Super mimetic.
Yeah.
I mean, I should say actually, I mean, the Kardashians have absolutely created copycats
for girls, for sure.
I mean, they've become an entire culture.
Yeah.
That's why I think the Kardashians are the most impactful cultural, you know, individuals. Yeah. They've absolutely created an entire culture, aesthetic. Like, people want to look like the Kardashians.
Yeah. Even like talking like the Kardashians,
that's what I mean. Even
well.
talking like that.
Yeah.
Like the vocal fry.
Yeah. Vocal fry has become like a really big thing.
It's always become a thing, but I don't know how people pick it up.
Yeah. I always think about myself and I'm like, do I talk like that? Like, I don't know.
No, I think you're good. I think you're good.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be, but hey, if you're listening to her, okay, so listen, any other hot topics? We talked about a lot of things, a lot of dangerous ideas.
Yeah.
Anything else? Current events, hot topics, usually at the end of the show, as you know, because you produce this pod, we talk about hot topics, but I think we weave them in.
Yeah.
I think the Humane AI app, talked a little bit about Elon Musk. Anything else that's culturally popping? The only thing I would ask is the GPT. So what ChatGPT did recently is they introduced a way for you to create your own GPT. So you could have Niamh GPT, or like I could create my own GPT, your own custom GPT. So if you had your own GPT, what would you build? I just built one like 5 seconds ago.
So like, how does that work?
So it's very customized to what you're looking for. So if you're like, I am a creative that wants to create like new campaigns for my D2C brand, and I only want to look up other D2C brands, you can call it like a D2C skin GPT. So it always is researching, or it's doing something for you. You're creating your own like virtual assistant, basically.
Okay. What would I use it for?
Well, if you were to create your own GPT assistant, it's basically having your own AI assistant.
Yeah.
For anything.
I think I would mostly just use it for like everyday like things. Like, I don't know. Yeah. It would be great if it could help me get dressed in the morning, like figure out outfits.
Based on you. I think it could do that.
Yeah.
I think if you gave it I think you could create.
Like upload your closet.
Oh my God. This is like $1 billion idea.
Yeah. I'm honestly shocked it's not a thing already. Like a smart closet.
Smart closet. Like you just upload your closet.
Yeah.
Just add all the pictures and it will pick and match for you.
Yeah.
And it will put it on you and you'll get some examples of it.
Yeah.
I bet you could do that.
You probably could.
Okay. We just built $1 billion GPT here. My $1 billion idea is, and I already tried it to build it in GPT. It wouldn't allow me to do this. I've been thinking about this idea for probably more than a decade. I think it's the next $1 billion company. Okay, are you ready for it? Are you ready for it, audience? Dangerous idea. This is the most dangerous idea of all time. Okay, this is why the pod, and you would use it. Your mom would use it. You would use it every day.
Okay.
Okay. Imagine something that you would use every single day, no matter where you are. You would use it. This is the app, and it's only possible because of artificial intelligence. The app is a facial. It's a what's the best way to describe it? It's basically a person, a picture. Oh, fuck. What's the best way to describe it? The best way to describe it is take a picture, any picture of anybody around the world, and you can identify who that person is and their name and like some details about them based on LinkedIn or some information like where they work. So imagine you're at a cool restaurant. You're like, oh, that girl's like vibey. I like, who is she? You literally take a picture of her. AI will search the internet.
Yeah.
Go on LinkedIn, go on Facebook, Instagram, go wherever else. It'll pull together all the information. This person is Chloe Sedana. She works at Aritzia. She's 27 years old.
Yeah.
And blah, blah. You would so think about it in this current context. Imagine going to the airport. You'd be like, oh, this person's in super elite. I wonder what this person does. Take a quick picture. Like, oh, Arthur B. Jordan is the CEO of blah, blah, blah company. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Imagine going throughout history. You pull a picture of Michael Jordan, 1989. The kid in the front row cheering. I wonder who that kid was. Pull a picture. Go into the GPT, Kanungo GPT. We'll call it Kanungo GPT. Find any picture around the world and identify who that person is.
Yeah.
In real life, back in history, and come on. That's the most dangerous idea on the planet.
Yeah.
You would use it every day.
I probably would. I feel like it would maybe make people not have conversations anymore, though.
Why?
Like, because you could just get all their info without needing
Well, you wouldn't be able to get every info. You get the surface level information.
Yeah, like the spark.
Like maybe if you know where they worked, or maybe you know their age. Like that's it.
Yeah. It actually might make it easier because then you could
Exactly.
know what to talk to them about and know if you wanted to talk to them a little bit.
No, it just goes back to like on Be Real. We talked about we're taking a picture. Imagine on Be Real, somebody takes a picture. Yo, I'm here, and there's like some people. Who are those people with them?
Yeah.
And you just put that thing into Kanungo GPT and be like, oh,
yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay, these are all her friends. How come I wasn't invited to this thing?
Yeah, I feel like that could be life-changing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would put people, obviously, so I tried to create the GPT today, but because of privacy rules and regulations, I wasn't able to build it. But I feel like could be built in this era because of, like, have you seen your iPhone? Like, have you had, like, how good it is at facial recognition?
Yeah.
In terms of, like, you put in, your boyfriend's face and then all the pictures, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So imagine that for the entire world. And I think there would be a lot of bad, but for the most part, there'll be a lot of good.
Yeah.
Because now we can connect with people in a better way.
Yeah.
So that is the most dangerous idea, and every single person would use it every single day.
Yeah.
Some woman asked me today, she's like, hey, at Starbucks, she's like, hey, what do you do for a living? Like, I'm just curious. Like, you always come in here, you're also happy. Like, what do you do for a living? She probably could have found that out. She took a picture of me, she could have found out.
Yeah.
Niamh, there's just $1 billion ideas on this pod. That's the reason for this pod. Listen, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. This was an awesome pod. If you're listening to this pod, rate, review, subscribe wherever you are, on Spotify, YouTube. We're going to be coming out with more dangerous idea pods. We're almost there in terms of getting out the studio and making sure that you guys get the best experience, costly signaling. And I can't wait. We'll see you on the next one.